2 cars in every garage? What a relic of the past. That jarring proclamation echoes through the neighborhood conversations and across social media forums as people realize, with a touch of shock and a swirl of bitterness, that the classic American dream of automobile abundance is shifting beneath their feet. Today, we plunge headfirst into the hidden reasons behind this surprising change. Are we too broke for our beloved four-wheeled freedom, or has our collective mindset about driving itself taken a turn? This is not just another heartwarming tale of nostalgia for cheap gas and open roads. There is a real, unsettling movement at play. So, what exactly is happening out there? Have Americans simply lost interest in the thrill of owning that brand new sedan or sporty crossover? Or is it truly about cost, and cost alone? In this episode, we dig into the stories that prove nothing is simple about modern car ownership. From jacked-up sticker prices to outrageously high insurance fees, from complicated loan structures to the maintenance nightmares that lurk beneath the hood, we will shine a spotlight on why motorists feel the financial pinch more intensely than ever. By the end, you may be rethinking your next vehicle purchase, or thanking your lucky stars you made 1 year ago. Sit tight, because we are about to uncover the knotty details behind the dramatic shift in how Americans shop, drive, and think about their beloved automobiles. We have a whole lineup of questions to investigate as we rev our engines. First, why are new car sales lingering below the highs of the last decade? And what does it mean for everyday drivers who are simply trying to make ends meet? We will also tackle the alarming rise in car insurance, exploring how bigger price tags for replacement parts and tricky systems lead to more totaled automobiles than ever before. Then, we will ask why some experts say we should forget the internal combustion engine entirely and go electric, despite the fact that electrified rides can be even more expensive to repair or total when things go wrong. We will even glance at that creeping fear of digital obsolescence. When your infotainment screen or advanced safety system stops working the way you expect, leaving you with an unfixable glitch that no good old-fashioned mechanic can solve. And finally, we will see if ditching car ownership altogether is really a smarter financial choice for some people, an idea that might have seemed downright preposterous just a few years ago. Let us start at the beginning, with the whole concept of new car sales. In the middle of the last decade, the nation seemed unstoppable. Automakers in the United States sold around 17.5 million new cars and trucks in a single year, an all-time record that made the auto industry just about burst with pride. So, why not keep that momentum going? The truth is, the economy, demographic changes, and shifting lifestyle priorities all intersected to create a dent in the future of car sales. By the time that record was set, many folks had already decided that owning more than one vehicle per household was a needless extravagance, especially with rising insurance premiums and the creeping cost of basic maintenance. Throw in some shocking variations in consumer preferences. Maybe one member of the family wants an electric vehicle, but another is still attached to big, gas-burning horsepower, and you begin to see the swirl of factors that chipped away at that once glorious pinnacle. Roughly speaking, new car volumes started falling swiftly after 2016, with the industry slumping right into an era of uncertainty. Those who could afford to buy continued to buy, but the rest of the population, folks who once might have saved up for an affordable sedan, often opted for ride-sharing or public transit, especially if they lived in cities where driving was more headache than convenience. Pandemic-era supply chain disruptions further complicated matters, creating wild fluctuations in vehicle availability and final prices. Suddenly, a word that is more dramatic than accurate, but it captures the feeling. Gone were the days of easy negotiations and comfortable monthly payments. People were now confronted with sticker shock in every sense of the term. Backing up for a moment, while the average transaction price for new vehicles might have dipped slightly from the absolute highs we saw at the height of certain supply crises, they have by no means dropped back to pre-chaos levels. Automobile manufacturers and dealerships often blame an array of issues, from raw material shortages to brand image considerations, for keeping prices elevated. Some also point to trade conflicts and tariff battles, elements that creep into the end cost of even economy vehicles. Putting these pieces together, patients in the waiting room of new vehicle ownership might feel they are sitting in an endless queue of uncertainty, longing for a break that never arrives. The question is, does that break even exist anymore? If the price of the automobile itself were the only problem, maybe these cost spikes would not seem so insurmountable. but the modern driver faces multiple layers of expenses. Next up is the chilling topic of automobile financing. Lending rates have crept upward, thanks in part to broad shifts in the national financial climate. Buyers who do not have mountains of cash are left with fewer appealing choices. Sign up for a lengthier loan, which might provide a more agreeable monthly payment, but drags out the debt for years and racks up more interest, or opt for a short-term loan with punishing payments that strain the monthly budget. Neither approach is particularly uplifting. And the intrigue does not stop there, because many experts warn that these extended loans leave you upside down, meaning you owe more on your vehicle than it is worth. A precarious situation that can escalate quickly if you experience a life-altering event and need to sell or trade in that car. No one wants to watch thousands of dollars vanish just because the vehicle depreciated faster than the loan balance shrank. Indeed, depreciation can be an insidious beast, devouring a large chunk of a car's value in its very first year of life. By some estimates, many automobiles can lose tens of thousands of dollars in their first 5 years. If your monthly payment is not enough to chip away at that huge depreciation, you could find yourself in the unfortunate position of owing more than your car's actual market value. For the typical driver, this is more than a mild inconvenience. It is a heart-stopping financial hazard that might force you to delay future purchases or bury yourself in further debt just to cover the difference. Remember the old days when you could get a tidy sum on trade-in or private sale? The difference now can feel like a punch to the gut. Let us now shine the light on another ominous cost overshadowing the entire experience: insurance. Picture this scenario. You are already paying through the nose for your monthly loan, plus gas, plus routine maintenance. Then you get your insurance quote. What was once a subtle line item for your monthly budget now leaps out of the shadows, demanding an ever larger cut of your paycheck. Indeed, some Americans report paying upward of a few $1,000s each year for full coverage. And yes, that total is spelled out in painful monthly bills. Insurance experts cite a range of explanations: modern cars loaded with advanced driver assistance systems, complicated airbag frameworks, cameras, and sensors that cost a small fortune to repair after even a minor incident. On top of that, the rate of depreciation means insurers sometimes opt to total a vehicle rather than fix it, if the cost of parts and labor exceeds what the car is actually worth on paper. If that does not give you pause, consider the fiasco that can arise if your car is totaled. You still owe a stack of payments, and you do not have gap insurance. Without that specialized coverage, you might be stuck paying the difference between what your insurer believes your vehicle is worth and the amount remaining on your loan. It is a tough spot, and many drivers skip gap insurance to save a few bucks, leaving them exposed to huge personal risk. Here is our first quick call to action. If you find this scenario chilling, and you have ever worried about hidden costs that could destroy your finances, please feel free to show some support. Send a like or a thumbs up to let us know we are on the right track. After all, these are real stories, and we are shining a light on the quiet financial turmoil that can happen when everything goes wrong. And yes, collisions are not the only events that can wreck your automotive budget. Big repairs pop up seemingly at the least convenient time, whether it is a cracked radiator or an air conditioning system that has simply given up on life. Modern engines, designed to be more environmentally friendly and efficient, also tend to be more complex. When something breaks, it often involves multiple sensors, special tooling, or complicated software updates. Owners complain about pricey electronic components, whether it is a digital infotainment system that decides to glitch out or advanced driver monitoring features that require periodic calibration. In some cases, owners grin and bear it. In others, they realize that substantial repairs could actually cost more than the car's market value. That is a pretty sobering notion. Meanwhile, the conversation inevitably includes the future of automotive technology. Electric vehicles, once seen as the definitive answer to the high cost of fueling up at the pump, also have their own set of hidden details. While they might be cheaper to run day to day, electricity can be lower in cost than gasoline, depending on your region. These bright new wonders bring with them fresh expenses. Battery packs from major electric vehicle manufacturers can be eye-wateringly costly to replace outside of warranty. And if you get into a significant collision that damages the structural battery area, your vehicle might be designated a total loss. The cost of repairs for advanced electronics is no joke, and insurance for luxury or high-tech EVs can exceed their internal combustion equivalents. Yet some industry columnists, like one Pulitzer Prize winner with a strong opinion, continue to advocate for full-scale electrification, claiming that in the long run, EVs are far easier to maintain. No oil changes, no transmission fluid, and fewer mechanical complexities that can break down over time. Even so, the potential for software to become outdated, especially if your vehicle's essential systems are reliant on apps, is enough to give us pause. Imagine discovering that the software powering your advanced monitoring systems is no longer supported after a certain year, rendering your beloved electric vehicle suddenly behind the curve in critical performance updates. We must not forget a key theme that keeps popping up: general reliability. A few decades back, crossing 100,000 miles on the odometer was almost a triumph, something you might brag about to your pals as proof of your car's undying grit. Now, in an era of improved manufacturing tolerances, it is not out of the ordinary for a decent car to surpass well over 150,000 miles or even 200,000 miles with diligent service. Does that reality factor into the used car marketplace? Since the cost of new vehicles is climbing, many thrifty shoppers are giving a second glance to cars that have lived a full life but still have plenty of road left to travel. In truth, a carefully maintained older vehicle can deliver big savings through lower insurance premiums and reduced monthly loan obligations, if you need a loan at all. That is not to say it will be cheap, but you may find it more manageable on a tight budget. In the realm of strategies for saving a buck, used car shopping stands out as a tried and true plan of action. It is not foolproof, of course, and you need to weigh the chance of inheriting a hidden mechanical problem. But if you choose wisely, you might well dodge the initial depreciation hit that new car buyers inevitably suffer, and you might also steer clear of the same level of monthly payments. This is precisely what the car buying gurus highlight when they talk about how to remain financially afloat. Consider that a fresh-from-the-factory model can lose a big chunk of value in its first year alone, meaning that a 1-year-old or 2-year-old car can be had for substantially less while retaining many of the features people crave. That said, if you do decide to go used, watch out for prior collisions, unclear service histories, or manipulative pricing from unscrupulous dealers. The search can be an adventure, but it can also serve up pitfalls. In fact, for some individuals, even the used car market is not the solution. These people might prefer a simpler, more radical approach, giving up the concept of personal car ownership altogether. That might mean relying on accessible public transportation, carpooling with colleagues, or using rideshare services to fill the gap. Think it is impossible? In dense urban centers, for many, it can be the cheaper route. The insurance bill effectively disappears, maintenance is not a concern, and you do not have to worry about replacing a broken water pump or faulty brake rotor. Of course, the trade-off is convenience. Are you willing to trust your daily schedule to bus lines, subways, or the availability of a rideshare driver at 6 o'clock in the morning? It is a question that more and more Americans, particularly young professionals, ask themselves when they weigh the costs. Of course, for those who love hitting the open road, giving up car ownership can feel like an unimaginable compromise. This is still a culture that once elevated the automobile to an almost mythic status, celebrating the freedom of the highway and the excitement of personal mobility. But the reality check of skyrocketing insurance, ballooning loan balances, and the pressure of surprise repairs is profoundly shifting the ways in which we relate to our steel chariots. The question is, will the next wave of Americans embrace minimalism or continue to chase that sense of personal freedom behind the wheel, even if it means living on the edge of financial strain? We have not yet mentioned the swirling drama involving trade policies and tariffs. Over the last few years, political maneuvering on the global stage triggered concerns among automakers about where to source the raw materials for their vehicles, how to secure their supply chains, and what those potential cost spikes would mean for consumers. As we have seen, the results are seldom pleasant. Tariffs can push up production expenses, forcing manufacturers to offset their overhead by hiking vehicle prices. Those escalations hit the sticker price first, but the ripple effect continues through to insurance premiums, replacement parts, and even the resale market. Buyers are left either shouldering the expense or walking away entirely. In the realm of repairs, it is not just major collision damage that worries people. Some experts claim that as automakers rely more and more on plastic and rubber parts under the hood, for coolant lines, water pumps, belt housings, and so forth, those pieces can degrade over time, leaving unsuspecting owners with large repair bills. Factor in the wide variety of technologies that must be precisely recalibrated after repairs, like cameras for lane-keeping assistance or sensors for adaptive cruise control, and the repair bill can spike to dizzying levels for what used to be a trivial fender bender. It is no wonder so many well-intentioned owners throw their hands up in despair when confronted with the newest wave of automated systems that require special servicing to remain accurate. Yet there is still an undeniable love of cars welling up in the hearts of many. Cruising along the freeway, windows down, music blasting, has a distinct appeal. Some Americans will do anything to hang on to that sense of freedom, even if it means pushing themselves financially to the limit. And we see that in the fact that many shoppers continue trying to buy the largest, shiniest, or most feature-packed vehicle available. It is not uncommon to witness a mid-level earner drive away from the dealership in a big, pricey sport utility vehicle with row upon row of seats, even if the monthly payment eats up a painful chunk of that salary. And let us be honest, if mobility is a necessity for your job, you might not have the luxury of scaling back your expectations too far. You need to get from point A to point B, no matter the cost. Yet, as we lay out all of these overwhelming price points, insurance that creeps ever upward, monthly payment obligations that stretch nearly a decade, advanced technology that can malfunction at the worst possible moments, a glimmer of hope might be shining. Industry analysts frequently mention that as modern cars become more durable, owners can potentially keep them for longer, pushing that reliability advantage further and further. Meanwhile, consistent innovation in the automotive field suggests that eventually, improvements in battery technology, for EVs, and resilience in mechanical systems, for gas-powered machines, could help rein in total ownership costs. So if the buyer is informed, patient, and willing to adapt, the modern era of tricky finances might not be quite as bleak. Here is our second and final quick call to action. If you are nodding along, or if you recall a time when you walked away from a painful dealership negotiation, consider taking a moment to leave a friendly comment or perhaps follow our page. By doing so, you let us know that you appreciate this kind of in-depth look at the realities shaping modern car ownership, and you help us continue exploring these vital consumer topics. Despite the gloom and doom that can overshadow discussions of modern driving, there are ways to stay afloat. Savvy consumers might calculate that fewer than a certain number of miles per year means a car, even a used one, is not worth the monthly expense. Another driver could crunch the data and find that an electric sedan, while more expensive up front, drastically cuts their monthly costs if they live where electricity is abundant and economical. The key is to examine personal habits, be brutally honest about monthly budgets, and prepare for the possibility that repairs or insurance claims might come calling. Some drivers also go the route of a small or minimalist car, choosing a model that is historically known for reliability, and skipping most of the optional extras that can balloon a vehicle's final price by thousands of dollars. Still, we cannot ignore that some families need the practicality of a larger vehicle, so the solution is rarely simple. Looking ahead, perhaps the visions of the future once portrayed in science fiction, self-driving pods that appear with the tap of an app, will ultimately sweep away the complexities of personal car ownership. But for now, we are stuck in this transitional stage between the old love affair with the muscle car or the big pickup and the new, unpredictable environment of advanced driver assistance technology, partial electrification, or even hydrogen fuel cell experiments. The price tags are sometimes shocking, the maintenance can be burdensome, and the question of how rapidly technology changes looms over every purchase. All of this leads us back to our starting question. Is the classic dream of a two-car family garage truly fading away, or is it simply evolving? The data speaks volumes. A noticeable drop in car sales from that record-setting high may reveal that many Americans just do not see the value in racking up debt for a product that depreciates quickly and requires costly insurance. But let us also remember that for countless families, a car is non-negotiable, functioning as a lifeline to employment or to vital services in areas where public transportation is scarce. The trick is to find a balance between the need for safe, convenient personal mobility and the financial reality that not everyone can or should carry a 5, 6, or 7-year car note. Amid this swirling complexity, manufacturers, dealers, insurance companies, and even certain politicians are all vying for their slice of the automotive pie. Some push for better consumer protections, others for more robust infrastructure that makes low-cost alternatives like trains and buses thoroughly viable. Inflated costs, taxes on imported parts, or supply chain disruptions do not help, obviously, but we might find that competition spurs creative new solutions in how cars are built, sold, and financed. Ultimately, individuals will have to weigh all that we have discussed here, from the allure of the brand new SUV to the raw practicality of a few-year-old compact sedan to the radical notion of depending solely on public transport. One way or another, Americans are indeed driving less at the moment. And yes, everything costs more, from groceries and utilities to the once simple act of fueling up on the way to work. The automobile, that longtime symbol of freedom and independence, stands at the center of this grand reevaluation. Can it remain the centerpiece of the American notion of personal liberty, or does it become an outdated relic that only a portion of the population can realistically afford? The answer will likely be as diverse as the country itself. Perhaps we will see more families consolidating into one efficient car, or an uptick in ride-hailing for times when they just cannot do without wheels. Meanwhile, unstoppable gearheads will continue worshiping horsepower, refusing to yield their passion just because of some extra digits on that monthly bill. What we do know is that the conversation is not going away. In fact, it will only grow louder and more urgent in the coming years. As interest rates fluctuate again, as innovative automobile tech reaches new frontiers, and as the cultural pendulum swings between shared resources and personal freedom, friendships may be tested by viewpoints. Some will argue that this is the perfect time to dive fully into new, green technology, while others will cling to the comfort of good old-fashioned combustion engines. Above all, the lines have been drawn across the financial battlefield. If you can afford it, you might choose to stand by tradition or embrace advanced tech. But if you are among the many who feel squeezed by every aspect of contemporary life, the question of car ownership becomes a strategic decision, wrapped in multiple layers of cost, risk, and personal preference. So, there you have it. From demand shifts to insane insurance hikes, from the potential glories of electric drivetrains to the pitfalls of endless loan commitments, the larger story behind Americans and their cars is more nuanced than ever. The dream of rock-solid reliability, quick repairs, and no-fuss pricing might still live somewhere in the hearts of countless drivers, but the roads ahead are neither straightforward nor cheap. As you reflect on the complexities of modern vehicle ownership, remember that steering your personal finances requires an alert mind, and more than a little caution, perhaps even more caution than you exercise behind the wheel. The story may yet take fresh turns, so stay tuned, stay curious, and keep your eyes wide open for that next revolutionary shift in how we think about cars and the freedom or burden they bring.